Hey everyone, welcome to the Bible Belt Bros podcast. Bam, done.
Whoa.
Intro over.
Whoa. Yeah, some energy behind that one.
Yeah, it's not morning, Andrew. You know this. We're on it's a Sunday afternoon. Nice little been up since 6:30, getting ready for church stuff.
That's what time I got up.
I've been talking and stuff, so that's pretty cool. I'm all wide awake. I don't have to make you coffee today, so I'm rested.
I know. I still asked for it. It just wasn't here.
Nope. Too late. You got free coffee at the church. That's all that matters. Anyways, hello.
What's going on? All right, so, Dusty, I got the banter. Don't worry. I got this covered.
All right, good, because I had no idea what to talk about now.
Lisa and I went to a casino on Friday after bingo. And bingo, we weren't. I guess we played a little, but really, we were running it. So afterwards, wanted to kind of go hit up the casino, just have some fun.
You're like, man, bingo was the gateway gambling.
Yeah, it's my gateway drug
to the casino.
And so we went, and it's always a good time when you don't lose everything. Normally, how it goes when Lisa and I go, anytime, it's always been I lose all my money, Lisa makes money, and we leave. But not this time.
Oh, yeah?
Dun, dun, dun. I did not lose all my money. I made $2.50.
Oh, my goodness.
That's right, which I then tipped back to the dealer, so I just walked out with all my money that I took.
And that person was like, oh, thanks for the $2.
Well, I mean, I'd been tipping.
Yeah, bum.
Yeah, I'd been tipping throughout the night, but...
so you still lost money?
I didn't... No, I don't consider that a loss.
Okay.
But, Lisa...
You came out with less money than you went in with.
No. I went in with...
After tipping?
No. Oh, okay. I went in with $200. I walked out with $200. I had
after
$202.
Tipping.
Yeah,
okay.
I had $200.
I thought you were saying like, I finally got up $2. From $200 to $202, and then I tipped $2.
Yeah, and so I walked out with my $200. But Lisa, she always walks away to the table a winner. Not this time. So actually, we left because she was not having a good time because she was losing her money.
That's hilarious to me because of the competition side of you, right?
Yes.
You would rather, because you share the same budget.
Yeah,
you share the same income. It would be better for both of you guys to come out winners, but you are bragging at the fact that you still, totality came out losers.
Losing, yes.
But you won the losing contest.
Yes, that's right.
Oh,
because I didn't lose my money.
That's hilarious.
And Lisa always beats me. So yeah, when I beat her, I have to brag about it.
Yeah, I don't do much. The only table games and stuff, is that what you're playing?
Yeah,
table
blackjack.
Games? The only table games I've really played has been at like the free ones where the Christmas parties where you get a ticket. You know? I've never really done at a casino. I was in Vegas for work once, and I was like, this is the wrong place to learn.
Yeah.
Like, I am not coming in here. One, because they'll swindle me for my money. Two, because I'll be like the most annoying person at a table. Like, what? Because I'll be hitting on things that you're technically... You get mad at me for hitting on things I'm not supposed to hit on.
Yes, I get mad at my wife.
Or that I should be hitting on and I don't, and then it messes up your cards.
Yes, 100%. So... I yell at Lisa all the time for that. Like, she probably is tired of sitting next to me, but then she always wants to sit next to me because, well, I'm her husband. And so it's just familiarity.
It's called a date, and so I have to be next to the person.
It's not really a date, though, is it? I don't consider that a date. She might, though.
I think that's the important part. What's she considering it?
Yeah, I'm always nudging her. I'm like, you should have hit there, Lisa. And she didn't. Or
you messed me up.
Yeah.
That would have been mine too.
Well, no, because I always sit in front of her. So I'm like, you
okay.
just messed up the whole table. Not just me, the whole table. I said, blackjack is a sport, or is a team game. And so I realized at my table, I am 90% sure there was a guy that's on the other side of us that was counting cards. And he came to our table with a small stack of a few greens, and maybe 4 greens, and then like probably $100 in reds. And I one moment I look over at him and I look at this pile. I'm like, holy crud, his pile has really grown. And then we take a short kind of, people walked away from the table. The dealer was going slow. So we're kind of waiting on people to get back. And I see him over there counting, like, mouthing numbers,
waiting for his time back in.
Right. And I'm like, this guy, in my head, I'm like, this guy's counting cards. I'm going to start mimicking his bets. And so...
Oh, you're doubling? Okay.
Right. And so at that point, I was down about $120. Well, when I started mimicking his bets, I started winning.
So it really wasn't you.
Right, it wasn't. It was this guy. But I picked up on what he was doing. And because he had so, like, I don't know how the eyes in the sky didn't catch him because his bets were so erratic. Like,
he's mouthing.
Right.
1, 2.
Yeah. And he's looking up in the sky doing it at the same time. I'm like, dude, this is such. Well, then after I made one comment. I said, okay, so everyone at the table, including the dealer, we all got essentially 20. We all had face cards. And I said, holy crud, the count is going to be low. Well, about 3 minutes later, here comes this big, broad dude in his black suit, comes and stands literally right next to me because I'm at the edge of the table, stands right there. And Lisa noticed it too. I'm like, I told Lisa, I said, "Did you notice that guy come over?" He goes, "Yeah, is that because the other guy was counting?" I think it's because they thought I may have been counting with him because I made that comment.
You're teaming up.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but nothing was said to either one of us. He stayed there about 15 minutes and then walked off. And so then the pit boss came over and stood near our table a lot.
Right.
So
yeah,
it was pretty fun though.
Hey, but you left out a winner regardless if it was you.
That's right.
Or it reminds me of have you seen like there's like an app that will buy stocks and sell stocks according to Nancy Pelosi because she's a genius apparently at the stock market. So
she's the best investor ever recorded.
Yeah, when it buys, you buy type of, it's automatic. Yeah, that reminds me of
that's funny.
You're gambling. If he's doubling, I'm doubling. If he's lower bet, that means I'm a lower bet.
Yeah. I mean, only a few times did he bust big, but that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
That's right.
So,
well, all right, cool.
Let's get into today's actual topic.
Well, Andrew, you messaged me. You wanted to talk about elders/deacons,
right? Just the roles of elders in a church. Kind of. When I got here, I was like, what is the difference between an elder and a deacon? I was like, doesn't the Bible call it one thing? I actually said, doesn't it call it a deacon? Then I believe you corrected me, and it said, it's actually the other way around.
I think there's both. I mean, I don't know.
So it's probably the translation then.
Elder, yeah. But
like KJV may call it elder, where, New Living may call it a deacon.
I remember growing up at the First Baptist Church.
Yeah.
And we had deacons.
Right.
And I thought that nobody really knows what deacons do, really.
Right.
I think the idea of deacons, and I'm probably completely wrong at this, so yell at me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure the deacons were like responsible for a pocket of people like in their church that they were over. So if they were in the hospital or stuff, like they would go visit them, like, or at least let the pastor know, hey, something's going wrong with Sally Sue,
Or Mary Jane,
and then there's probably some like just business meeting stuff, decision making stuff that they're part of, like a board. Ideally, is that kind of what it feels like? It's more of like a board of directors situation.
It's really what it feels like to me. And the whole, there's this group of people, and that's who they're kind of, watching out for type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just maybe been how that church was set up. I don't know if that's actually.
Well, I don't know if that's the Baptist model,
right.
Like how the Baptist model of the deacons, elders. I never heard of elders until our church that we're in now.
Right. Same.
But it always grew up as the deacons are this, the deacons are that. And were they voted? No, they weren't voted on. They were
presented and then
presented
approved.
And then voted on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's how it was.
Could people be like, hey, is this person who they say they are?
Right.
Is this person a good person behind the scenes?
I'm pretty sure in our church they were voted on. Obviously, not now. In our new church, current church, no.
Mm-hmm.
They're just kind of presented, and if there's an issue, then you go to the pastor in private.
Right.
And then the pastor kind of decides, okay, that issue isn't warranted, or we don't need to press that anymore.
Right, I got you. So, yeah, that's kind of what I remember it being, was kind of like a board of directors vibe. But I do remember hearing something to the effect of, like, you need this many deacons for this many people in your church, as far as, like, they're like state representatives.
So as your church grows, you need more deacons.
You need more deacons because you got more people that need taken care of. Yeah. Now we kind of do that with house church leaders. Like house church leaders keep, they're in charge of that pocket of flock or whatever.
Right.
Needs come about. Like they're the ones that are expected to go visit them. They'll let the pastor know and he can come if he wants to, type of situation. But we kind of do our own little self-sufficient deacon-ish. Are house church leaders deacons?
No.
That should be our...
Yeah. No,
they're not.
They're not.
They are actually not. Anybody can be a house church leader.
Exactly. Not everybody can be a deacon.
Right. So I want to look up the qualifications of deacons, and I want to read through 1 Timothy 3, and we can talk about it.
Okay.
Does that work?
That works.
This is a trustworthy... I'm reading the New Living Translation, all right, 1 Timothy 3. This is a trustworthy saying. If someone aspires to be a church leader, he desires an honorable position. So, a church leader must be a man whose life is above reproach. He must be faithful to his wife. He must exercise self-control, live wisely, and have a good reputation. He must enjoy having guests in his home, and he must be able to teach. He must not be a heavy drinker or be violent. He must be gentle, not quarrelsome, and not love money. He must manage his own family well, having children who respect and obey him. For if a man cannot manage his own household, how can he take care of God's church? A church leader must not be a new believer because he might become proud and the devil would cause him to fall. Also, people outside the church must speak well of him so that he will not be disgraced and fall upon the devil's trap. In the same way, there's the word, deacons must be well respected and have integrity. They must not be heavy drinkers or dishonest with money. They must be committed to the mystery of the faith now revealed and must live with a clear conscience. Before they are appointed deacons, let them be closely examined. And if they pass the test, then let them serve as deacons. In the same way, their wives must be respected and must not slander others. They must exercise self-control and be faithful in everything that they do. A deacon must be faithful to his wife and must manage his children and his household well. Those who do well as deacons will be rewarded with respect from others and will have increased confidence in their faith in Jesus Christ.
So we have qualifications for church leader and qualifications for deacon.
But they're basically exactly the same. I just read the same thing twice.
Yes. Pretty close. I don't believe the leaders, it mentioned the wife. But what I'm thinking or seeing is a deacon should be everything a church leader is plus some. And then his family should also be stand-up, not have any issues or be quarrelsome or anything like that.
Right. Best of the best. What stood out to me, and it kind of hit me like maybe with a whoa is whoops, or what do they say? Amen or oh me?
Yeah.
Something like that. It was church leader must not be a new believer because he might become proud and the devil will cause him to fall. And it made me think of 8th grade kind of being not rushed into leadership position as a student leader at a church.
Yeah.
But it definitely, like, a lot of things changed for me in that 1 year. And then I became too proud later on because of my status quo as a student leader that it did cause me to fall into traps. It did cause me to not tell people my struggles or whatever because I might lose my position. That was a really interesting thing.
That is. So that's also, I see that in the business world too. You don't want to promote somebody before they're ready because their head gets too big. Mm-hmm. I've seen that in almost everywhere I've ever been. Work and obviously church. And you're right. It happens probably more in youth than it does in big church. But again, in youth, you have 6 years. And so you have to get those people ready and essentially, quote unquote, promoted sooner. Yeah.
I'm not saying that me being a student leader
right
was bad or anything like that, but it was really interesting to me because that is something that happens when you put on a pedestal or in the leadership position, regardless of who you are, that you become, you can fall into that trap. To me, it was just more of like, if somebody comes, they give their life to Christ, everybody kind of have known them for a while, and they kind of get rushed into maybe these leadership positions because of their willingness. Like a new believer is usually a little bit more like, let me get me in any ministry.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then
they're eager.
Right, very eager to do whatever. And so
the wool has been pulled over their eyes.
That person can then fall into this
trap.
Easily by doing the right thing. In a sense.
Having the right intentions,
right attitude, doing the right right ministries, but just not having that foundation. Maybe.
Absolutely. A couple things that I pulled out of there, Dusty. You and I can't be elders. Because we don't really like people coming over to our house.
Yeah, I laughed when I read that the first time before this podcast. Must enjoy having guests in his home. I'll have guests when I need to, when I have to.
But do I enjoy it? Not so much.
It's just really funny to me. I read there's Titus also talks about elders and stuff, but I think it's exactly like I felt like I was reading the same
thing, right?
Same thing. Like, hey, did you guys just copy paste this over here?
Probably. I mean, it's the same. It's what Paul writing both Titus and Timothy.
The not love money was another one, which is probably good because there is a lot of money that kind of comes in and out of the church, and I think we'll talk a little bit about that on the next episode. But yeah, just thinking about like the Judas situation, how that love of money kind of festered in him,
right?
Seeing all of that, like people wanting to give to this mission and all that kind of stuff, and making decisions based off of money. Is somebody who loves money will make decisions based off of money
right.
over faith or whatever.
Right.
So I can see that that's like kind of the reasoning. Not that the guy's going to steal from the church or embezzle from the church, maybe a little, maybe a little bit, but that could also influence a person's decisions when they're making decisions for the church,
right? Or to help others.
Yeah, who to serve, who to help.
So another thing I pulled out there was it said, don't be a heavy drinker. So it's not saying don't be a drinker, just not a heavy drinker. So I feel like you and I have talked about this 1,000 times on this podcast. I feel drinking is not a sin. It's the sin comes when you get drunk. Lose control of your body or mind, I believe is how the Bible puts it. So then let's think about it not as Paul wrote it. Let's think about it in our modern church.
Okay.
How should a elder or deacon or leader, how should they, what should their responsibilities be? Because times have really changed. This didn't talk about any sort of service. It just said that they should essentially be stand-up people.
Right.
Not really anything else. Should they... what type of service should they do?
What do they even do?
Right. Yeah. Essentially, what should their role today be?
I don't know. If I was asked, I've never been asked to be a deacon or elder or whatever. And obviously I don't like people in my home. So there's a step one of overcoming that. But I don't know what the ask is.
I don't even think that is, I wouldn't say that's a qualification anymore these days. Having people being joyful to have people in your home. I'm thinking about even throughout the years, the elders, the deacons that I've known, most of them aren't joyous to have people in their home. Most of them don't want people in their homes.
Right.
And so if that is still a qualification, then holy crud, a lot of deacons and elders are about to lose their jobs.
1 Peter 5, this is advice for elders and young men. And now a word to you who are elders in churches. I too am an elder and a witness for the suffering of Christ. And I too will share with the glory he revealed to the whole world. As a fellow elder, I appeal to you, care for the flock as God has entrusted you. Watch over it willingly, not grudgingly, for what you will get out of it, but because you are eager to serve God. Don't lord over the people assigned to your care, but lead them in a good example. And when a great shepherd appears, he will receive a crown that's never-ending glory and honor. That, to me, biblically, I know we were going back to real world, but biblically, that kind of shows that really the call of an elder is to care for the people.
But right? Okay, now you need to look up the difference since you're researching elder and deacon. Because in that passage, it called him elder. In the previous passage, in Timothy, it was a deacon. So are they talking about the same people, or are they talking about two different subgroups of people? Was a elder, something else, have different qualifications? And if that's the case, then where are the qualifications for an elder?
Well, I'm going to do it according to the chat. So ChatGPT.
Okay. So what's Chatty say?
Chatty just says the biggest difference is elders lead and teach, while deacons serve and support.
Okay. That makes sense. So elders, which is what we call them, so they lead and teach. Mm-hmm. So we should, which serve and support is kind of the same as lead and teach.
Not necessarily. So like the main responsibilities of serving and supporting would be like maybe meeting practical needs of the church, supporting church operations, serving like like if we do a ministry project for somebody, like they're like serving the people that way, but leaders are more of like maybe the spiritual leading. These are like meeting physically needs, like assisting elders so they can focus on praying and teaching.
I'm going to say then that's going to be very controversial.
Probably.
If I say it.
If you say stuff, it's always.
I'm going to say we have deacons then. We don't have elders in our church. So there's a lot of guys I would not want to follow that are in position of power in our church. And so I'd put them more as a deacon than an elder. If an elder is supposed to lead and teach, there's not many that I'd want to at our church. That's kind of what brought this topic up. There was something said a couple weeks ago at church that started to get me thinking.
Here it comes now. All right.
What's coming?
I'm just meant like now we realize something happened.
Well, yeah, that's how all of our topics come up. Yeah. Something pops.
Now we get to the real reason. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, something pops up and it spurs a thought in our heads, and we research it, and we're like, all right, topic, and then we talk about it here.
So
anyway, something happened, and it was just something was said during a sermon, and I started thinking about it. And so then I shot Dusty a text, said, hey, podcast idea, let's explore this. And we literally explore it on the podcast with y'all. We don't really do too much research.
We try not, I do a little bit of reading, but then I just try not to talk to you about it.
Yeah, we like raw reactions.
Yeah.
And so like that's my thought process of we have more deacons than in elders. That's just a raw thought. Mm-hmm. Where there's not many at the church.
I think the way denominations kind of hash things out is they've probably combined deacons and elders into the same thing. I don't remember ever being elders in a Baptist church. So,
but I don't think you can though, because they have different qualifications
in reasons for them as well.
Yeah. Right, and so that's why that's what made me start thinking. I'm like, okay, so. What are their, like, we have elders. What is their job role? Like, what should they be doing?
And I think it's just really like support of the pastors, right?
Right.
So supporting when pastor has a vision, they're part of supporting, making sure that vision comes to play. When there's people in need and they see people in need, that they're able to either help or gather the resources to help them. Like, I think there's not like a physical, like weekly job duties that they're assigned to do.
Right, like checkbox.
Yeah,
right.
I think that it's more of, and what makes, for me, is elders are a little bit more of the teaching side of it. They're going to be probably more, quote, quote, seasoned. This says elders are often called pastors, overseers, shepherds. So, like, even like a associate pastor, like when we say pastor, you could think of the main guy. Elder's not the main guy, but they could be an associate pastor. Like that's the idea of an elder as well. Like the job duties could be considered. If they're a shepherd, that's exactly what you call a main pastor. You know,
right?
The pastor's a shepherd of the flock. But I think that all in all, deacons are probably more of like the day-to-day support of the pastors.
Is it gonna be? You keep saying pastors, but is it pastors or is it church?
I think I think it's the pastors more. I think deacons are more.
So then when we changed our pastor, or when a church changes their pastor, should they change out their deacons and elders?
Well, most churches, they kick out their pastor, and so then they're in charge of picking a new pastor, those same elders and deacons. So they don't get to come in with a new. It's not like a regime change.
I mean,
even though some pastors get fired like a regime change.
I mean, that's what it is sounding like. If they're there to support the pastor
and hold them accountable,
then a new pastor comes in. You know, there could be conflicts, personality conflicts, things like that. They're not going to be wanting to support the pastor.
Well,
then you have backbiting.
I think that you should have personality conflicts in your leadership positions. You don't want all the same guy. You don't want yes men. Like you and I disagree all the time, so we'd be great on a team together because you're at least gonna
You'll have.
We're gonna fight about it. You're gonna
Right.
get some kickback that might make you think of something, even if you don't listen to me and you think you're right. Still, I'll at least will bring up. Some call it devil's advocate. I don't have to be the devil's advocate because it's just my opinion. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to make up an opinion. Don't call me the devil, Andrew. I know you're thinking about it.
No, So I said that in house church.
Being a devil's advocate?
Yeah, and you know who my house church leader is, and he goes, "Why? Why would you want to be his advocate? Don't be his advocate."
Yeah, well, people say that when they're like, "I agree with you, but I'm going to try to think of something at what." No,
right.
What I'm telling you is my opinion of the subject. I'm not just making one to argue because I hate arguing.
When I said it,
we argue.
Right. When I said it, I was not trying to, advocate on. I truly did believe what he believed, but it was, and I forget what story it was. Obviously, it was in John because it was, maybe a month or two ago. But I was like, it was the Pharisees. Jesus yelling at the Pharisees again. But it was when he went to a different town, and so I was like, let's be the devil's advocate here. Did those Pharisees know what Jesus said back here to these Pharisees? Like, he's yelling at them and calling them, hard-headed and dumb and stuff like this. But did they hear Jesus' message? Because they're in a different town, days apart. Was it the same? I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Pharisees followed him, and that's who he's calling dumb. But I don't know. Anyways, back to...
Even you're on the devil's side. I get it.
Right.
Okay,
mean, after this podcast, some people might think it because, like I said, in our church... there's a lot that I wouldn't want to follow.
Well, here's my ending point, okay, is I'll go to chat, GPT, simple comparison, right?
Right.
So I'll go back and forth. So my biggest point is I think that American church or just churches and denominations in general, we get too hung up on what the title is, and that's what we're really discussing was what's the deacon do and what's the elder do? Well, I think there's a lot of meshing because there's probably
I agree.
just
yeah,
not.
there's
According to chat and then according to the scriptures we just read, the simple comparison is elders are to lead spiritually and the deacons are to serve practically. Elders are to teach doctrine and deacons are to support ministry. Elders are to shepherd people and deacons are to be there to meet needs. Elders are to oversee church direction. Deacons are to help church function, and elders are to be accountable for spiritual care, and deacons are accountable for their faithful service. So I think I'm somewhat right where the deacons are there to make sure that when there's a call of like, hey, we have this need, a deacon steps up to meet those needs.
So then maybe we do treat our house church leaders as deacons, and then we have our elders.
Maybe, that could be, we treat them as deacons. They're the ones that will present the needs to the church, people in their house church. And they're not teaching, our house churches, the leaders aren't teaching doctrine. They are, I mean, you can say they're really not shepherding people per se, because they have
I disagree.
Well, we have a house church pastor, which would then be like an elder technically that would be over. They would be the ones.
So they would. You're saying they would be the shepherd
to the deacons, to the house church leaders.
I would disagree there.
Okay, well, I'm probably wrong. I don't know. I'm just trying to make this make sense.
I get you. I mean, you are doing good at making it make sense. And so far that's the one point I disagree on.
Yeah, but so I think that there's maybe you're probably right that a house church leader, you could kind of consider them deacons for trying to rally the troops to get things done and
take care of the church body, stuff like that.
Yeah, and the way we structure our house churches, there's not doctrine that's being taught there. There's maybe some accountability to spiritual care, because of you're checking in with people and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of an overlap, but I think a lot of it is that we just probably don't understand it in the American church enough, and we just kind of overlap some things. And I mean, who knows? We should have asked our church. Do we have these written out? What our expectations are for these people? Like, can we get that, Kyle? Kyle, can we get those?
Pastor?
Yeah.
Well, and that's what sparked this thought in my head is, biblically, what does it say, and then what actually happens and occurs. But yeah, so it sounds like our church does try to do the elder role, but most of them fall more into the deacon role. Not necessarily.
Yeah, maybe the expectations fall into more of the deacon,
right?
And what they're actually. Yeah, I can see that.
And I don't even know if the expectation; it's just what they do. The expectation may be an elder position. They just don't fulfill that expectation. They really just fulfill the deacon expectation,
right,
or qualification, whatever. So it may just be it.
But I'm just confused as ever. But yeah, it is really like.
I mean, this definitely cleared up a lot for me.
Okay.
So.
Well, I just like to end with helped Carson, being a better dad. Had him watch Braveheart for the first time.
Nice.
And there's a quote there.
You made him a man.
Yeah, right. There's a quote there that men don't follow titles, they follow courage. And so I think even in reading those scriptures, there's a lot of things in there that's how everybody should be living their lives. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, not by title.
Everybody should be living their lives in what 1 Timothy chapter 3 is saying. Being honorable with people around you, being above reproach, like all of those things. Don't be a heavy drinker. Don't be angry all the time. Like raising your kids right. Like all of those things should be what everybody strives to do.
Right.
We should all live our lives in the style of an elder or a deacon.
Right.
Then maybe one day you accept that calling of an elder and being an elder and a deacon. But yeah.
Too easy.
Easy. All right. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, or sharing, or donating $1 million. And we'll see you next week.
Take it easy.